Hello, welcome to Outmouse Labs. My name is Penny, and I'm glad you're here. Today is going to be a longer video with some cuts and edits in it. We are going to be building the exterior to our inn, the Red Dragon Inn that was featured in the last video. Now this is from the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and it is the sort of reference for our exterior. We see some key ideas here. One is that there is a courtyard. Another is that there are layers to the building. So we have a roughly human-sized layer of stone with shutters. We have then another human-sized layer of stucco with fancier windows. And then we have an implied upstairs on the roof that is roughly a human and a half tall with a central stone fireplace. We have a sign out front. We have a walk up. We have a porch. We have a sort of elongated entranceway. So this is going to be our reference. Hello, welcome to Outmouse Labs. My name is Penny, and I'm glad you're here. Today I'm going to be doing something similar to what I did in my last video yesterday, which was I was showing how to make changes to the interior of an inn, the Red Dragon Inn, for a game project I'm working on. And basically how to use RTP assets to edit them, to recolor them, to make them work in interesting ways. So we're going to do something similar today, only today I'm going to be doing it on camera, so there'll definitely be more mistakes. This might actually end up being like a series of videos that's really one session, but is, say, 20 minutes each or something. We'll see how it goes. And this is what I put together using the RTP assets plus a little bit of the MB Trinity pack. And it doesn't look bad. Like, honestly, this looks okay. I could have this in a game and really not be mad at it. But I think we can touch this up quite a bit. So that's what we're going to try and do. I'm going to get started. I think that a little bit of music while I'm not talking can be helpful, so I will put that on. It shouldn't be too loud. And this is from Bit by Bit Sound. It's called World Travelers, and it is available on itch.io. I will link it below. Actually, I can pull it up and show you. Real quickly, I'm also going to be using assets from the Mary Restaff 2021. I'll just go ahead and show you that real fast. So that is right here. It's Mary Restaff December 2021 on itch. We're going to be using particularly assets from Candasis. I'm not really sure, but these assets here, they're really beautiful. We'll be editing them and using them. Then we'll also be using Bit by Bit Sound just for background music. Where is... Let's see if I can find him. Well, give me a second. I do want to make sure I show that they, show the folks who we're using. Let's try, let's say, Bert at Bit by Bit Sound. See if we can just get a search. There we go. Oh, here's his Patreon. That'll work just as well. So here we go. Bit by Bit Sound, Bert. This is, and they're going to be providing the music we're going to be listening to today. Okay, great. With that out of the way, we'll go ahead and jump in. Okay, so let's start by doing some importing. So we got our assets imported. We have my inside and outside. We have a new one that we are going to be building into. We have the inside B and C, the outside B and C. and all of these various cottage assets. Okay, great. So, ways that we want to change things. We want to do something that reminds us a little bit of Oblivion. That's kind of my goal here. Like that, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. So, looking at our reference here, I think what I'm actually going to do is copy our reference in. No, it's too big. Well, I'm not going to do that, I guess. I am going to keep it kind of handy on the other screen, though. Alright, so we need... We'll start with what I think will be the easiest. We need a gate, like an entrance. Alright, let's look at what we got. Though that could be converted to a nifty-looking entrance, I think. We could build it whole cloth from these for sure. We could probably do it with this guy. Maybe using something like this. Alright. I'm gonna start with... Oh, where were you? Yeah, this guy here. Turn on our grid. Snap to grid. Grab a hold of it. Bring it in. I don't actually know if it's absolutely required, but this first one is always blank and set to star in default stuff, so I'm going to continue to do that just because I don't know that that's not correct, and it does seem to be basically universal. The first thing is, I don't think I want it to be brick, I want it to be gray, so we are going to go ahead and go to our hue saturation. Usually you can do something like this. Okay. Start there, that's fine. We're going to make it smaller. But it shouldn't be as big as a person, not quite. Okay. And then this does still kind of look like a chimney as is. We want to get rid of all the sort of dark, like the darkest. So we're going to have a go with this. Why can't I draw on it? Oh, that's why. Got it. You have to turn off the snap to grid to actually draw. We're going to fill in and then make this look more natural once we've filled in the holes. That's it for holes. Okay. So, and now we are going to... Basically, you want to think of the center of things that catches the light as sort of hot points and base it around that. Already better. And then we'll go down a layer. So again, what we're doing is we're kind of approaching the center, thinking what might catch light in as sort of natural a way as possible. And then when we zoom out at 100%, that looks pretty good. Okay, so there is our gate. I'm happy with that. It has some shadow. Again, I'm okay with that as is. Alright, so we now have a sort of gate for our wall. Next up, I think we want to look at building our wall itself. Now, it's going to be built out of this same material. That'll make it look a lot better if it's the same material. It's just a lot, it's going to be shorter. So we're going to do something like grabbing from here. And here is an area where we're actually going to pull something that I mentioned yesterday. We're going to borrow the idea of how auto tiling works. It's not going to be perfect, but it does tend to look at least a little better. Okay, so you look for the 24 by 24s. In this case, that's still like most of it, which is okay. We're going to cut it in half. Okay. And actually, that's going to end up being an end piece, so where it's going to need its own sector. So we'll put it over here. Moment, we're doing this. We're going to do that. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. And then what we're going to do is grab essentially half of this, flip it horizontally. There we go. And then do the same. And now we're going to go back into our proper grid size. And if you look, that looks pretty good. It doesn't look, it looks fairly natural. Okay. Once again, we're going to grab this 16 by 16 piece and put it over here. And we're going to grab this 16 by 16 piece and we're going to put it over here. Okay. Great. And then we're going to grab this 16 by 16 piece, put it in the center. Great. Alright, so there is a kind of self-contained piece. We have an in piece going that way, and now we can get an in piece going this way. And the reason we're being a little fussy is with tiling, if it doesn't at least mostly match up, you can really tell. It looks off. I don't know how else to put it. So it is worth doing a little bit of extra up front to make sure that it's how you want it. And that is in fact how we want it. So now we'll just grab you, and the last two of you. Okay, great. So that is going to be our wall, and now we are going to put some kind of cap on it. It doesn't have to be as fancy as this cap by any means, but it should be something. So we're going to grab a hold of this. And we're going to be obviously making some changes. Actually, I don't hate that as it exists. Okay. And get rid of you. Now we're going to pull essentially the same trick here. We're going to flip it horizontally, attach it, make sure that it looks good, and I actually don't like that, so this is coming from there. Okay. Yeah, I think that works for me. I actually think that this one should be light all the way down. So it's going to be this guy that should be kind of half and half. Okay. All right. Okay. Do I like that? It does give some depth. No, I think we are, and this is a big part of it, y'all. Is just trial and error until you get what you like. Okay. We have our wall. I think that looks really good. Now we want to make sure our wall is sitting on the same spot here. Okay. And now here is the next kind of trick of it all. Now that you have, some of your pieces, you need to start fitting them together, and so that you can make sure they're actually going to do what you want them to do. Right? So for instance, this shadow here, it's fine on one side, but it's not going to work on the other. So you can decide if you think it's worth it to use 2 tile spots or not. That's really up to you. But you need to be at least aware of the choice you're making. So there we go. That, for instance, to me, looks pretty good. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. And that does mean that to get the other side, you can flip it. Nothing wrong with that. That's probably what I'm going to do. But we we gotta look and see if that's what we want. And then we'll have to get rid of that shadow, of course, because it won't be giving the shadow the other direction. No, I don't think I like that. If you were to put it here, though, how would that impact things? So that's what you got to look up next. You know what? That works. So I'm good with that. You can put it on either side. Now, the next thing you have to look at is so now that we determined we're going to keep that, I think the thing that we need to do now is extend this out to meet it. Okay. So we're pretty close to this. There we go. Yes, that looks great. So that's extended out. And similarly, if it's coming to the other side, it needs to be extended out in the same way. So now you have to do something like this. Put it to the side here for a minute. Grab a hold of this. There we go. And look at that. See, that's not quite right. And that's why you have to like kind of constantly see what you want. So something like those three. There we go. Okay, zoom out and take a look. We don't want that, so we can do this. Well, so it would be bump, bump, and you just make multiples of that one. This one is essentially a copy of this. We don't need this guy. And we want you to be visually... This is just for us. We're moving things around so that it looks right to us at this point as the designers. It is possible this would not extend all the way, but I think it looks better, and sometimes it's not going to be realistic in service of looking correct, or even just better. Okay, so that is our gate. So it's our wall. To have the gate, you just have two sections. Wonderful. I think it would be nice if the gate went back. So let's see if we can do that. That's actually just going to be our top railing. It's one of those things. Now, you can cheat and make it a little wider if you want, and I sometimes even actually recommend that. So to do that, you're going to... We'll grab a hold of the whole thing up front, and we'll copy it. I'm going to bring it up here. And then we are going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. Find our center again. And we are going to just look and see. Yeah, I would say it needs to be pretty close to that width still. It can be a little smaller, but not a lot smaller. And what we're going to do is essentially, we'll start by doing that. That's not going to do the job at all. So next up, we'll try something else. We'll do this. Okay, and we just don't need to be quite that wide. So I think what we'll do is we're going to tuck it in to a 16 by 16. I think that's going to serve us well. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, I think that is going to be just fine. I'm just looking at this. There we go. Okay. We're going to make a new layer. Put it on there. Move the layer under. Try that again. Move the layer under. Nope. Come on. There we go. So looking at that, we need this to be a little bit. You see that? We need it to look like it could be a joint, so that has to be two higher. So we're going to go over here actually, and this is again why we build it all out. 2. There we go. That gives us what we need. There we go. Aha! Now it looks right. Excellent. Alright, and then we'll just copy that top over. Yeah. Okay. And then in layer 2, we move this. Yep, there we go. That looks great. So there is our pole. And then you have to decide if you want to have the reverse or not, and I do actually recommend it. So if you do want that, you're just going to grab a hold of this entire, and then Shift H it, and then give it a place to live. And I think actually what I want to do is, well, we'll stick it here just for a moment. We're going to put you here. Now this is important for a couple reasons. One, this is a major set piece, if you will, and I want it to be nice, so I'm giving it the real estate it needs. And also, I'm looking at that. That reverses the shadows, and it doesn't really, I don't think it actually helps all that much. I think I gotta leave it off. But I really want it to look as nice as possible because it's reusable, and anything reusable is worth a little extra work, in my opinion. Okay. So, that looks good. I mess with the colors just a little bit more. That's what I want, just a little bit more gray to it. There we are. And that is going to be our gate. Wonderful, we got it. Next up, we are going to be building the kind of eaves, and for that we do have a leg up because some of it has been done well, actually we may not have to build it at all. That's kind of what I had in mind right there. Well, I appreciate Candace's, so that will be done pretty much on its right then and there. And there's nothing wrong with using assets that are provided. Just make sure you give credit, and remember that you can always make changes to make them fit your specific need a little more. That's always okay. Okay, beautiful. Alright, so that's in. We're going to be using this, of course. And let's see. So we're going to need all of this. Actually, I think better to just grab a hold of it. Good, that'll work. We're gonna go grab that and bring it in. That's a huge amount of real estate, obviously, but again, kind of central to what we're doing, so well worth the extra real estate. And we are going to be able to build our chimney the way we want it for sure using this guy right here. We want our chimney to be a little bit more complex. But we can absolutely do that using this right here. So let's go ahead and put him in. And then we are going to go to our trusty 24 by 24. We are going to grab a hold of this here, and this here. Shift H to flip it, bring it over here. And we're going to have ours kind of slipping beneath the house, so it can afford to be a little bit okay. And then I wouldn't mind an implied shelf. So kind of using you basically as light to imply a shelf there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, so I think that's going to look great for our chimney. Let's see. What we can do to test that is we can go back to View, Grid, 48. Wouldn't mind if it was a little taller, all knowledge. There we go. I like that. So it needs to be on the top. It needs to be up all the way. So aligned to the top. Okay. There's our chimney. Looks good. Our door is actually pretty close to this. So we'll look and see if there's something similar, but otherwise we're going to be editing that pretty much. There's not, so let's go grab that. Very much the same basic principle. There it is again. Alright. And so to become a door, all we really need is for it to be as tall as a door. So I'm gonna go actually open the doors I made in the last one of these. Grab a hold of a door. Come over here, stick it in. And it's pretty close now, so. You know what, even better, I'm gonna go grab this, which is our door frame. You go ahead and flatten this out, and then make a new one on top. So what we need is for it to come down a ways and then go up a ways. So I think the way we can do that, we might actually be able to do this like this. It's possible. If you're on the right layer anyway. We can at least see what it looks like. Okay, that doesn't look bad. I don't even hate that, although I want the color to match. So what we can do here is we can designate that we're only working with these. We can hit G, turn off the continuous, we can grab a hold of you. And we're just kind of matching tones to an extent here, basically. And it's not a perfect. You don't have to be perfect. It just has to be kind of close. There. I'd say that looks pretty good. I don't think we really need to do it any more than that. Now our door frame here has steps in our reference picture, which I actually really love, so I'm going to go and grab those steps. I think we can actually pull from the base, so we can go into open, tile sets, I think it's like A4, A5. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to grab you. Grab a hold of you. We're going to go over here. Now, we're going to have to line all this up eventually anyway, so do keep that in mind. So actually, we're going to do this. We're going to create another layer. Move it under, Control V. looking to see how it kind of looks on here. It does go past, but it isn't super far past. Something like that. That looks okay. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is one too many. Go. Alright, so that lines that up. Okay. And then what we want to do is grab you lot. Pull you down. And they only have 2 steps, so that would be like... Well, I guess we're going to grab the bottom here. Alright, almost done here. And you know, it's just getting it how you like it. Sometimes a single pixel change can make all the difference in the world. Go back and look at our... Oh, no helpful there. So I'll just have to... There we go. Now all you have to do is make sure that the door lines up with, like that it lines up with what the character will look like when they walk up to it. You should flatten first. Perfect. There we go. There's our doorway, which I think is going to look quite snazzy. Okay. Oh, I think that will allow us to build out our cottage. So let's go build it out and we'll finish this up. Save. Export. Export as B2. We'll go into the engine. Go to tile sets. Increase by 1. Copy our outside. And go grab our B2. Now we're just setting our movements. Nope, not through that. Okay. Alright, that should do it. Alright, so here's what we have to start with. We are just going to copy this, put it here, and edit away. So let's take it apart. We'll keep in mind what we like about it. We can always look at the other one. Alright, we're gonna go grab our... Let's go actually give that a proper name. Cottage exterior. And we kind of want it to be like that. And we are going to use, I'm going to start with this stuff. We may end up changing this, but this is a good start. Okay. That looks good. Now we do need, let's see, I just don't think we grabbed it earlier, and it's already becoming important, so we'll go grab it. Yeah. Okay. Don't forget to export, as I always do. Okay. Take 2. There we go. Now let's see if we were to do this. I know what we can do. Watch. Let's try this out. Let's go over here and over here. You don't hate that. Do Do we have just the flat, though? We would want just the flat. Let's go take a look and see if we have that. Well, that may not have been provided. I don't think I see just a flat. There we go, there's the flat. Okay, actually we're gonna do it this way then, because that's gonna be much better. Alright, since they have this provided for us, again, provided by Candasis as part of RESAP 2020-2021, we are actually gonna do this. We're gonna replace this bit of our outside A3 because it's just a little nicer and it'll match with everything that we've already done here. So we're going to replace this guy with this guy. Just to make sure everything lines up. Good. Okay. So now we hit save there. We go back over here. We go here. We go to A. We go boop, boop. A3 should now be, there it is. So now we can actually get rid of this because we can go over to our A3 and beautiful. And just for completeness sake, go ahead and remove this tile, export, go into the engine, go over to your E and get rid of that. Alright, that looks good, doesn't it? Alright, let's keep right on keeping on. We have our door, which is gonna go right there. Unless it can go. Does that look good? No, I think it looks better over here. But that looks good. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay. Like that a lot. And going back over here, we can look at those windows. Go. Gonna grab a hold of this guy. Copy it into our stuff because that's great. And oop, that's how I remembered. Export, open, go to E, set it to that. Go over here. There it is. Okay. Now, one thing I'm noticing is that's actually in the wrong place. Let's go over here to our A. There we go. Erase that. Alright. That's actually in the wrong place because this isn't the ground. And that, let's see. We can at least see what you look like further down because I think it is going to look better in the long run. There we go. Now we get down to our shutters here. So we can put our door where we want it. There we go. And we get our standard shutters here. It should look okay. And maybe We'll see what one more big one might look like here. No, can't do that. That's alright. You guys look great. Okay, our chimney that we made. Oh, no, that is... That is not behind. Even though it's... Why are we not behind? Well, that's unfortunate. Let's go give that an edit. And this is why it's all trial and error. So the first thing I'm noticing is that we need to be bigger. It's just not big enough, which is okay. We can fix. That's actually relatively easy to fix. Okay. And I'm noticing that this just doesn't help. Even though we wanted it to, it just doesn't. So we'll get rid of that. And it's now a fork. There we go. And we export. And we go into our thing. Go to E. Set it up. Apply. Grab a hold of it. Boom. Now it looks like what we were thinking. Okay. Okay. Oh, we forgot to do that too. I even said that we would have to do that and still forgot. It happens. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. Export. And you know, I at least never quite remember all the things. But you know what? That's okay. It ultimately makes the thing I want to make. And that's what's important. If you get past the center, in the engine, I can show you real fast. There's an error here. And you'll see it if we go over here. You see how it's up against, and then the final piece is down here. That's just how the engine cuts up images. Got to be mindful of that. So we're actually going to move this down here. Right there. Perfect. There we go. I'm happy with that. There we go. Okay. Some of our barrels. And we're just cleaning it up a little bit now. Putting in a few things that, you know, kind of add to the interesting look. Nothing particularly over the top here. What else do we want to do that can add to this? Got our flowers, that might be nice. And then, of course, our trees. Okay. 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 And a lot of these, all of these are assets that are either RTP or MV Trinity that I've edited, copied over, used in different ways. It really can just add a bunch over time. Might look right. I guess of the options, those are the best. Okay. Anything else I wanna? Is this one then? Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else I want to add to this cottage? Oh, whoops. Not sure what happened there. Okay. There is one thing I do want to add, and I think... Actually, I think it might be as simple as doing this. Oh, well, that didn't work. There we go. Try that again. Yeah, I do like that. Okay. I think that pretty much we could even do the let's go ahead and do one more little quick edit. Just take a second. I think it's going to add side B, grid setting 4848, snap to grid. And we're going to grab this guy, this guy, and this guy. And we are going to use some tricks that are hopefully starting to feel pretty second nature now. I'm going to grab a hold of that. We're going to shift V to shift vertically. Just flipping each time until we get what we need. And then there you go. And now this one looks, this kind of sets our pattern. So we just move it over. And need to actually remove the shadow first, since we already have the shadow. So there's that. Or you could even, if you wanted, do something like this. I think I actually like both designs, so I'm going to keep them both. Which means I'm going to go here. So there is a way to copy merged, and then you can paste the merged. So that's what we're going to do there. And then we're going to get rid of this bit on this one. we're going to flatten it out. Alright, like I said, just takes a second, and I think it's going to add. I think it's going to look better than having them on. You know what else we're going to do? We are going to darken those all, because I really feel like they're a little bit bright. So all we're going to do is turn down the brightness, and not much. Let's say like minus 15. That's even too much, I think. Minus 10. Minus 5. Minus 5 is plenty. It doesn't take much. Okay. There they are. We set them as things that we cannot walk through, except for the top one, which we can go behind. We hit OK. There are our signs. That's our best spot. Okay, I think that pretty much gives us what we need. If there's anything else I would add to this, it looks pretty good to me. Okay, I think that we are going to call that done. Oh, our gate, of course, that we worked so hard on. This I do very much want, so it does make it so that we can do, let's see, we'll fill more of that in here shortly. Okay. Two and three. Yeah. There we go. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to increase the height by 1. We're going to move everything down by 1. Okay. Experiment with. There's a mild flaw. But okay. Now our gate where it makes more sense. We're gonna have our okay. Looks good. Looks good, looks good. And then we can If we want our axe back, we can do that. Where's my axe guy? There you are. It's just as good over here, I think. This one, though. Okay. Okay. There it is. So we started with this. We started with this. And we ended with this. Not too shabby. Obviously, this was made much, much easier by the assets provided by Candasis and the Restaff team in Restaff 2021 on itch.io. Our music today was again by Bit Sound. My name is Aldous Mouse, and I'm glad you're here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and please remember that these assets can be just about anything you need them to be. You just got to be creative. Happy game making. Take care.